And this is your host, Rashis Kaiman, the tallest man in Black Africa. I'm waiting for you. We are live, by the way. We are live, and we expect you to join us. Kindly join us so that I have very, very important news that I want us to discuss. And ni vizuri wakati tunazungumza hapa, kwa sababu unajua hapa kile ambacho tunafanya ni kuzungumzia, kujadiliana masuala ya kisiasa. So I'm waiting for you guys to join us, and you can comment on this channel. Comment, like this video. By the way, when you like this video, you give us what we call super chats, and we are very, very, very happy. So what you do, we are live. What you do, you comment through, just write what you think about what we are going to do, because here I want us to discuss very, very important news. And before we wait for others to join us, I have a copy of the Daily Nation here with me. And there's something very, very important I want us to discuss. For sure, it's very, very important. I can see we have a number of people are joining us. I think we are now 21. And let us see if we get about 200 so that we can go to the shocking news. Because the newspaper today has an item that I feel that we need to go live, so that if anybody was to question the source of the news, it is Sunday Nation, dated April 16th, 2023. So before you go to the shocking news, nataka tuangalie the headline. The headline is, will they save the economy from total collapse? So what they are talking about, they are talking about the crisis and ongoing economic crisis. They are saying no money to pay public servants salaries, the debts are gobbling. Hivyo ndivyo ambavyo tunaona. They are also talking about tax collection that is far from hitting the target that they are collecting. I think this shortfall of 714 billion, and this is huge. They are also talking about political instability that is actually facing Kenya, and there's also the issue of the Eurobond maturing. That is 250 billion Eurobond maturing. There's also the high cost of living, and the problems are so many, our viewers. Kuna matatizo mengi sana ambayo yanazungumziwa hapa, and that is just the headline. And again, on the front page also, you also realize that the DP is saying that he's going to protect the police from Raila Amolo Odinga taking them to the ICC. Kwa ukiona utaona kwamba bila kupoteza wakati, tunaona kwamba wameanza kuogopa kwa sababu wanajua kuna mambo mengi ambayo yanaweza kutokea. Again, it is also important that Azimio is going to hold the rally today, and according to the Daily Nation, this one is just telling the people that we are going back to the street. Kwa hivyo kule kwenda katika Kamukoji, mkutano wa Kamukoji wa leo, ambapo tunatarajia kigogo wa Azimio Raila Amolo Odinga na Martha Karua, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, all of them are going to grace the meeting. Again, when you come to page 6, you also see that Ruto tells of Azimio on fresh demos plan. Kwa ukiona kwamba yeye, he doesn't take this Azimio business very seriously, which is not a good thing if you ask me. So we are live, our viewers. What we do, just write a comment and or give this video a like so that you can get what we call super chats and be very, very happy. So when you look at what the Daily Nation is saying, is that Ruto is not taking Azimio very seriously, and I believe there will be consequences. Again, when you look at page 8, they are talking about the making of economic meltdown. Kenya brace for tough times. Kwamba bado mambo hatujaona, tutayaona mambo bado. Hivyo ndivyo ambavyo tunaambiwa mambo yatakuwa mabaya sana. And in fact, if you ask me, if William Samoei Ruto is not careful, this country will collapse if he's not very, very careful, because he is staring at an economic meltdown. So again, this is also talking about the issue of CBK readers who are actually letting the country down. And ukiangalia kuna mambo mengi ambayo yamekuwa yakiendelea pale. But the shocking news now, to take to the shocking news, I think on page 12, Listen to this. This is the talk of the town, page 12 of our Daily Nation, because this is something I want us to discuss. It says, are there simmering jitters on the National Intelligence Service, that is NIS, and the Kenya Defence Forces, KDF, over pending changes in their top leadership? That is very serious. Are there simmering on the National Intelligence Service, that is NIS, and the Kenya Defence Forces over pending changes in their top leadership? Our snitch tell us that their mamas, the looming changes are coming, and this follows recent move by the President William Samuel Ruto to name the new Deputy Inspector General of Police and demand a reshuffle in the top leadership of the security organs. Some top officials in the two institutions are now ready for the eventuality, with claims of bad blood between them and the apparent political clash being kumedhuka bwana. Ukiangalia vile ambavyo mwandishi wa Daily Nation, this reporter of the talk of the town, is alluding to a very serious problem, that the National Intelligence Service, they will not take it lying down. They will not accept the changes. The KDF also, you will not take it kindly. And this is what I'm calling shocking news, because this is something that is very serious, because it is touching on the security of this country. It is touching on the stability of our republic. You see, when you talk about a country, when you talk about a nation, we are talking about KDF. And no, they are what we call the Toja rules. And these are the rules that define who is going to be the head of the army, who is going to be who, and who will be the chief of armed forces. And these rules are followed. They have always been followed, and the police seems to have no problem with them. Not the police, the army seems to have no problem with them. But now we are learning that they are simmering with this dissatisfaction. It is something that can bring this country down, by the way. I don't know what you think if you read the talk of the town, page 12 of today's Daily Nation, because this one made me to even go live so that we can discuss this thing together, kwa sababu wakati ambapo unaona majeshi yetu yakianza kutajwa hapa na pale, watu huwa wanajiuliza maswali mengi sana, and it is something that can set shivers down the spines of many Kenyans. Na wengi wetu hatugetaka kuona au kusikia wanajeshi wakihusishwa na siasa, lakini when you read that statement clearly you see that inaonekana kwamba sasa siasa zimeishaingia katika majeshi yetu, na pia even the National Intelligence Service. Remember one thing is that the National Intelligence Service are the one that tells the government what is happening. These are the people who gathers the intelligence, and they give the president, they tell the president what is happening in the country, in every village. They even know what we are talking about here right now. I know some of them are in this channel. They watch this channel. But according to the Daily Nation, utaona kwamba mambo haya sijui kama because you see, Daily Nation is not just your ordinary media house, because kile ambacho tunaona ni kwamba the Nation newspaper is a trusted source, and they don't just come out with information, although we have seen Kenya Kwanza government trying to rubbish them, wakiwaita sijui nini, the gutter press, sijui what lakini unapoangalia utaona kwamba wakati ambapo wameanza kuzungumzia mambo haya, ni mambo ambayo yanaweza kuogofya sana, ni mambo ambayo yanaweza kumfanya mwananchi wa kawaida aone ya kwamba everything is not well or is not well, truth be told, kwa sababu kama hana majeshi. And I think William Samoei Ruto, he needs to go slow. If you ask me, if I were to advise him, I would tell him to go slow when it comes to our security. Because you see, all said and done, from Moi all the way to Kibaki, even during Kenyatta, majeshi yetu na the police have not been involved so much with politics, although the policemen have been misused by the various presidents. Like now, the way they were being used to crash the demonstration. Utaona kwamba the military has always been watching the politics of this country at a distance. They have not been involved in politics. But I know what is happening is that when William Samoei Ruto now changed the Deputy Inspector General, ni pale ambapo unaona Waswahili wakisema kwamba mwenzako anaponyolewa, ukiona mwenzako ananyolewa kiwa chako maji, because you are likely to be the next person. What we can say in this video is that if William Samoei Ruto is going to make the changes in the military, it will look like, according to this source now, the Daily Nation, it means that the army will not take it lightly. And you see, it goes further and states that these guys are ready to bite the bullet. I don't know what that means. They are ready to face the consequences. They are ready to go the full way. And what the president needs to know is that in the military, truth be told, in the security dockets, everywhere you go, the divisions that you see in this country are everywhere. They are everywhere. Even in the police sector. If you go to the police service, if you go to prisons, if you go to the youth service, everywhere, you realize the division is everywhere. So viewers, we are on live. We are live. Please remember to give this video a like so that we can get the super chat. And I've just read a very, very delicate part of the Daily Nation today, whereby the National Intelligence Service and the Army, KDF, are saying that they are worried, they're simmering in the two institutions because of the pending changes that are expected on the top leadership of our security organs. Na kile ambacho tumepata ni kwamba when you look at the Daily Nation, it is there on page 12. And maybe I can read again for those who are joining us here. We are on page 12 of the Daily Nation, and that is the talk of the town. Jitters over pending shuffle in NIS and KDF. That is the sub heading. And the reporter is saying, are there simmering jitters in the National Intelligence Service, that is NIS, and the Kenya Defense Forces, KDF, over pending changes in their leadership? Our stitch tells us that the looming changes following recent move by the President William Samoei Ruto to name the new Deputy Inspector General of Police and the demand to reshuffle the top leadership of the two security organs. Some of the officials in the two institutions are not happy and are ready for any eventuality, with claims of bad blood between them and the apparent political clash being talked about. That is the Daily Nation, Saturday Nation, not the Daily Nation, Saturday Nation, page 12. A very serious something. Ni mambo ambayo tunaweza tukiangalia tunaona. You know, I was watching the Inspector General of Police, Koome, and this is what he has said. He has warned Azimio when they go to Kamukujirari today, because we are heading there, that the police will not hesitate to use anything, including guns, to deal with Azimio. In fact, that is what he has said. Now, when I listened to him, he was saying that ni wananchi wamenunua hizi zana za vita, hizi silaha, anamaanisha kwamba police will not hesitate to use these these gadgets, these weapons, and they'll be used against innocent Kenyans. Their crime will only be watakuwa wamejitokeza hadharani, watakuwa pale wakizungumzia masuala tofauti. And if you ask me, when we look at even the national dialogue, one thing is very, very clear. I can tell you that the government is not very serious when it comes to statecraft. It is not very, very serious. And one of the greatest problems that this country is facing is because when you look at the leadership of Kenya Kwanza, wakati ambapo walichukua hatamu za uongozi, utapata ya kwamba ni kana kwamba hawakuwa na mikakati yote. They did not have a plan. Although William Samoei Ruto was saying that they had a plan, when you look at it, you realize that these people did not have a plan. Again, when you look at Mwai Kibaki, the reason why he did not even complain about Arap Moi, because you remember the economy was in the deathbed, but Kibaki never even mentioned Arap Moi. He don't even cry in public about the nature of the state or the state of the economy. Yeye aliendelea tu na kufua uchumi, akautoa katika sadaruki kwa maana ya ICU. Kile ambacho alifanya ni kwamba alifufua uchumi na he brought the economy to almost double digit. Now it's something that he did without complaining, because the reason why he did this is because he knew what was ailing the country. He knew the problem that Kenya was facing. So because he was a good economist, he knew how to approach the economy. So what he did, he appointed a very competent cabinet. Very competent. Remember what akina Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila was credited with the road network. Again, when you look at people like Muthaura, they were very, very efficient. Although not in the cabinet, he was in charge of the civil service. But now, when you look at Arap Ruto, it's a total contrast of Mwai Kibaki. Although he liked talking so well about Mwai Kibaki, it's a total contrast. Because when you look at somebody like now, Aisha Juma, the one who is actually the person who actually even replaced the Director General of the Youth Service, and I think akaleta sijui mkalijin. It is something that is not going on well, and the Kalijanization of this nation is something that many people are not happy with. Ukweli same way, kwa sababu when you look at most of the sectors, utaona kwamba what the government is doing ni kujaribu kuleta wakalijini katika, I don't know, because this one is marked on something like insecurity of the president, because there's no need of looking at the tribe at the expense of meritocracy. So when you look again at what is happening at the Ministry of Education, look at the Sacred Hearts, Mokumu Girls, and other schools that have been affected by a crisis of monumental proportion, na utaona kwamba serikali ni kana kwamba imeshindwa hata kutabua ni kipi ambacho kinaendelea katika shule hii. Utaona kwamba nchi iko katika hatari kubwa sana. And now when you now add these issues of the KDF and the National Intelligence Service, it is something that can affect this nation stability. Because what this means is that the investors are very, very keen now on what is happening in Kenya. I think yesterday that I saw a company that was closing its doors and wakaenda kabisa, something like that. I can't forget the name of that company. Maybe if you are here, you can remind us the name of that company. There's a company ilifunga milango ikasema vile hii nchi inaendelea, the high tax ambao wanalipa serikali, they cannot sustain, they cannot be able to operate. So and now when you add these things that are happening in our country, basi unaona this country cannot actually attract investors. You know, when you look at every sector, you realize that this is a serious problem. And today when I heard Mount Kenya, a guy is talking about 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote, I remembered the name of what Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta said, that BBI is a dream deferred. One day it will come, and it has come so soon, by the way. Wengi hatuko tunatarajia kwamba maneno ya Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta yangekuja kutimizwa haraka hivi. Remember, he also warned the nation that if Kenyans were to elect William Samoei Ruto, within 3 months they'll start crying. And I'm telling you, Kenyans are crying. Wengi wanalia. You know, yesterday William Samoei Ruto promised Kenyans that the price of uga will come down to Kenya shilling 150. Let's see, because the week has started. Let's see from tomorrow kama tutapata uga wa shilingi 150, because about 46,000 tons of maize docked in Mombasa, and I think this was the second consignment. Kuna zingine ambazo zilikuwa zimekuja. Ni mahindi mengi haya ambayo yamefurika nchini, na wakati yanafurika, kile ambacho tunaona ni kwamba tunatarajia bei ya uga itashuka, lakini there are also concerns that what is coming is for sure what we are getting is GMO, and I don't know the safety measures that have been taken by the government, because we have not seen the government assuring the public that this maize is fit for human consumption. It is not going to bring issues, because what we know is that GMO is something that many Kenyans don't even want to hear. Even the farmers don't want to hear this. So when you look at our government, in a nutshell, we see a crisis. And it's just a matter of time, because I understand the government is very much determined to crush the opposition. Because kile ambacho tunajua ni kwamba in the fullness of time, after Ramadhani, after whatever these festivities, in 2 weeks time, Kenyans are going back on the street. And this time round, I expect to see things that have never been seen in this country. Kwa sababu ukiangalia utapata kwamba, for instance, kama bei ya uga haitashuka, basi sijui vile William Samoei Ruto atawaambia wa Kenya. Because you saw what happened. Tuliona mafuta yakaja mafuta mengi, useme ukweli usemwe, but the price of fuel did not change, did not come down. We expected, because what they are saying is that it is an issue of government to government, kwamba wanaitisha mafuta kutoka the Middle East, government to government, and they have even 9 months to pay. They can have a grace period of 9 months. Now they are buying using Kenyan shilling, because the dollar is becoming very scarce and it is giving them headache. Or it's a good move, mugara muwe na haki umpe, because if it can go through, if it can work, there's no reason why the cost of fuel should not come down with maybe 15 shilling per liter. It is possible to buy fuel at Kenya shilling. I believe we should be buying fuel at Kenya shilling 120. So wakati ambapo Azimio wanaenda kule Kamukoji, jambo moja ambalo tutaangalia sana ni kama kuna watu ambao hawataenda, kwa mfano, because one thing that is coming out very clearly today, I saw some ODM guys trying to oppose maandamano, kusema ati maandamano sasa amechelewa, sijui nini, hatufai, we should concentrate with the national dialogue. But what these people are not realizing is that Kenyans are not happy. What these people are not realizing is that ukiangalia sana utaona kuna mambo mengi ambayo yanafaa kuzungumziwa katika nchi. And if I were to be asked, because some guys have been asking me what I think about the government, because you see, some people have been telling me that I've pointed so many mistakes about this government. What should be done? I've always given some observations. I've also given my recommendations what should be done. If you ask me, for instance, why should we have a bloated cabinet? Why should we have a bloated cabinet? What we should have, 15 cabinet ministers are enough. They're enough. We don't need all those, even principal secretaries. There are so many. Because what William Samoei Ruto is doing, he's indebted to so many people, and because he's indebted to so many people, that is why he's creating positions for them. Indeed, the post of the chief administrative secretaries and the CAS were created just to reward loyalty, just to reward people like Mwaura, people like Margaret Wajiro, people like Hawa Kuyusha Viuno, Wegi. That is the reason they were created, because he is indebted to so many people. I don't know which book in the Bible, no, I don't know whether it's Romans, that says that owes no man anything. We do not owe anybody anything. But what from Mwai Kibaki and others like Arap Moi and Kenyatta and even Uhuru is that loyalty is given installments. but punishment is given instantly. That's what you should know. But what William Samoei Ruto is doing is that he is rewarding royalty at the expense of meritocracy. And that is why we find ourselves where we are. So by the way, guys, we are live. Remember to like this video. When you like this video, you give us what we call super chat. And we are very, very happy for those who are joining us. And we are many. You can see now we are many. And maybe what you want, maybe you can do, write your comments. I'm going to read those comments. Let's see what you think about this nation. Because so far, up to this moment, majority of civil servants have not been paid. They have not been paid. There is no hope of paying these people. And when you listen to the Council of Governors, Chair Lady, that is Mobi, anaitwa nani, huwa Kirinyaga governor, utaona kwamba nchi iko na matatizo mengi sana. Because as I said in my other video, inaonekana hata mawasiliano yana matatizo kati ya the Council of Governors and the national government. And there's no proper coordination. And the person who is tasked with this and implementing many things in the county government, the office of the deputy president, is mandated to coordinate the national and the county government and come up with areas that they need to support each other and complement each other. Lakini sasa ukiangalia utaona kwamba kila mmoja analia. If the governors are crying, now who is left? If they have not been receiving money from the national government, what is left? So I think the other solution for the problem that is facing this country, some of these counties should be merged. Why should we have so many counties? Why should we have 47 counties? If you ask me, about 6, 7, 8, not more than 10 counties are enough. Not more than 10 counties are enough. Because we have so many counties, so many governors with their spouses asking for offices, asking for a kitty from the national government, instead of looking for funding, maybe from donors or from other organizations. If they feel that there's something that they can do in the governor's offices or in the county government, they can seek funding from other organizations, but not from the national treasury. So hizi ni pesa za wananchi. When you look at the situation at hand, it is something that many people are questioning. And when you look at the arrogance in Kenya Kwanza, it is on another level. Indeed, there's somebody, a very senior member of parliament of Kenya Kwanza, who was hardly saying that Azimio is just wasting its time because they are not going to agree on anything. They are not even going to agree on the agenda. They are not going to agree on the agenda, leave alone what they are going to discuss. Because when they are going to that national dialogue, the government is entering the dialogue, wanaingia pale wakisema ni jambo moja tu ambalo tutazungumziwa, the reconstitution of IEBC. And do you think Raila is going to accept this? And Raila is a wise person, because sasa ukiangalia vile ambavyo ameamua kwenda kwanza mikutano, call them the town hall meetings, and now meeting the people's baraza, because what we know is that Raila has realized that William Samoei Ruto was just buying time. He has realized this. And what many people don't know is that William Samoei Ruto is one person, anakwambia hivi, but this is not what he means. He's not usually very, very serious on what he's saying. And we only need to look at the manifesto. When you look at the manifesto, one by one, of UDA, or call it Kenya Kwanza, utaangalia uniambie ametimiza hili hajatimiza. You realize that most of the things that he promised to do, he has not done. And now let me ask you a question. Remember, the government is telling us that there's no money. The same government has the Hustlers funds. Of what benefit has been the Hustlers funds to this nation? How has the country benefited? How have the Hustlers benefited by this money? Na tena walitoa hizi pesa wapi? The Hustlers fund walizitoa wapi? Na bado wanatuambia hakuna pesa, na bado waliongeza zingine. Again, The other question, they are telling us there's no money, yet we are seeing them in high-end hotels, very expensive hotels, boarding there, dining there, doing everything there. And they are using taxpayers' money. They are telling us this. Today, William Samuel Ruto is in a Thanksgiving ceremony at in Machakos. Na wanatumia pesa za serikali. Who in the government is there? Just imagine the amount of money that is being spent just to ensure that there is security. The amount of money that is being used to organize those meetings. Yet the government is telling Kenyans that there is no money. Nani ambaye anaweza kukubali hata ukiambia watu hivi? The government is telling us there is no money. The same government, they are hovering, they are moving from one country to the other, like nomads who are looking for good pastures. For them, they are flying from one country to the other with huge delegations, some of them carrying girlfriends, others carrying cooks, others carrying house girls. And this is Kenya for you. They are lusting after our resources, our scarce resources. The same government is telling us that it is where it is because of the handshake. Raila is not in government. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is not in government. But hakuna kitu ambacho tunaona cha manufaa tunaweza kusema kinaendelea katika serikali hii. Look at the government again. Our government is very busy telling us that kuna mambo mengi ambayo wanafaa kufanya na hawajafanya kwa sababu ya the handshake. For how long shall this country continue listening na wimbo ambao hauna mahadhi? Ati Raila sijui alifanya hivi, the previous regime walifanya hivi. These are just excuses. Excuses that will not help. Indeed, we have seen presidents taking over countries. And tunaona kwa mfano when Kagame took over the leadership of Rwanda. Rwanda had gone to the dogs. There was no country. There was no economy. Today, William Samoei Ruto is sending delegations to Rwanda to learn about irrigation, to learn about food stability, sustaining food reliance. Museveni took over a country that was literally dead, a country that was in war for many years. Hebu nikuulize our viewers, when did you hear Uganda begging for food? When did you hear? Go to Singapore. For those of you who have been to Singapore, Singapore is an island, yet they are capable of reclaiming the sea, and Singapore is self-sufficient as far as food is concerned. Singapore is a tourist destination. You cannot even compare it to Kenya in terms of resources. The country is very clean. Very clean. Come to Kenya, you realize that our leaders have completely failed this nation. When Kenyatta took over, he laid the foundation of this country. Now, by the way, alianza vizuri sana. Truth be told, our forefathers laid the foundation. Akina Tom Mboya, and may God bless their soul in eternal peace. Akina Tom Mboya walifanya vizuri sana. Up to 1969, I think this country was heading in the right direction. But I think in 1966, when they started fighting Jaramogi, that is when things started going south. Lakini hapo beleni nchi ilikuwa inaendelea vizuri sana. Now from 1970 all the way to 1978, it was Kiambu Mafia who was controlling Jomo Kenyatta, who was ailing. The man was sick, truth be told. But many people could not even know that the man was sick. So that is why they wanted to change the constitution so that Arap Moi did not take over the presidency of this country. Came Arap Moi, huyu wakati alikuja akashangaa gaya kushangaa wakati ambapo waliona ule utajiri huko katika nchi. Despite the fact that he was the vice president for so many years, it's like he had not accumulated enough wealth. So what he did, he started the Kalianization of this nation. Exactly what Arap Ruto is doing today. So Moi destroyed this country, destroyed the coffee sector. He destroyed the petroleum sector. He sold, looted KCC. Kenyans became beggars in their own country. Kenyans started begging for food. By the time he left office, because he had turned out to be a dictator who didn't care. He killed many people without caring. He assassinated many people, helped by somebody like Biwott. Na walifanya maovu mengi sana katika nchi hii. William Samoei Ruto was part of the youth for KANU 92, a youth wing of KANU that was fighting reformists. And now, in 2002, that is when Kibaki took over. And as a good driver, akaambia watu sasa vile mtafanya, mjifuge mishipi, mjifuge mikada, safari, mimi ndiye dereva. Saidiwa na kina Raila Amolo Odinga. Don't forget that the man was in a wheelchair. Lakini kweli usemwe, he tried so much. Alijaribu, aliweza, alifanikiwa. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta continued from where he left. He tried so much also, though there was issues of terrorism, there was issue of COVID. Alijaribu sana. But now, when William Samoei Ruto took over the reign of this country, sasa ndio sasa matatizo yameanza, yamechacha. Matatizo yanaonyesha kama mvua. Ni kilio kila mahali unaenda. Tell me, when did you see, which other country have you heard that it is unable to pay its civil servant? Wanasema tu kazi hapa kazi tu, hakuna mshahara. And you see, the funny thing is that if you don't report work, you'll be sacked. Yet hujapewa pesa. The same government is in meetings wakiiba pesa with what they call per diem, and this is out of pocket money. Pesa bazo wanajilipikizia wao wenyewe. Indeed, William Samoei Ruto is an energetic person, just like Magufuli. If he was serious, he could have borrowed heavily from a person like Magufuli. And now, I was thinking about the stadium in Embu. Inajengwa, the stadium ambayo inajengwa Embu. Na kule Embu, they are going to spend a lot of money for an event that will just take one day. Just one day for a Madaraka Day. So why not even postpone the Madaraka Day? Why not even sit? Why not even go to Uhuru Park alone and address the nation alone? Why? Or in the State House, by the way. Why? Why waste people's time? And you cannot even be able to pay the civil servants. Why waste public money? What is self-independent, internal or whatever you call it? Madaraka Day. So what is it for now? Is it because if you ask me, these are just political meetings ambapo Kenya Kwanza itaenda tu kujitanua kifua pale, wasting a lot of money, inspecting the guard of honor. You spend a lot of money. You spend a lot of money. And this money, if you ask me, should be channeled to the different abled people, popularly known as disabled, but me I call them different abled people. I believe that there are so many things that William Samoei Ruto need to do, if at all he want to bring changes in this country. But the problem we have with this government is a populist government, as I've always opined in this channel. Mambo ambayo wanafanya ni ya kujisifu tu, sio kumfaidi mwananchi. And they talk too much, but do very little. Very, very little. But then if you're joining us here, welcome. This is Gachis Kaman TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. I was just reading a very interesting item in the Daily Nation, page 12, Talk of the Town, whereby there is simmering in NIS, the National Intelligence Service, and the Kenya Defense Forces over the impending reshuffle that are expected anytime on the top organ of these institutions, and they are not happy. And we are reading from the Daily Nation is here. You can see I have it here. Vile wanasema ni kwamba they are ready to face any consequence. So what we are seeing now is a politicization of our security organs. And I'm saying this is not good for this country. It is something that no person would want to see or even think. Kwa sababu this is what is happening, by the way, in South Sudan. And sijui kama ni leo ama ni jana ambapo majeshi ya South Sudan wale ambao wanamuunga mkono Salva Kiir Mayardit na wale wanamuunga mkono the deputy president, there was a shootout. There was a shootout, serious shootout. A number of them were killed. And we would not want to see this kind of situation. I think the government has a huge responsibility to try to bring stability in this nation. And all this is happening because of a disputed election. All this is happening because of Wafula Chebukati. All this is happening because the government has refused to open the servers. And all this is happening because of the Supreme Court, by the way. If I ask you, no, I've never understood one thing. Maybe you can help me understand this one. Why did the Supreme Court, that letter by the Smart Patrick company was read in court, and that's the Supreme Court, and they were citing intellectual property rights, something like that. Is it intellectual property right? I can't remember what they were talking about. That they could not give full access to their servers. So, truth be told, the Supreme Court knows very well that the servers were not opened. Yet they went ahead and declared William Samoei Ruto president. They confirmed that he won. So we are having this problem because the servers have not been opened. If the servers are opened and it is found that William Samoei Ruto won the presidency, we shall support him. We shall help him to move this country where it should be. But if it is found that Raila Amolo Odinga won the elections, then he should be sworn in as the President of the Republic of Kenya. We are having this problem. We are saying that there is no money, yet there is money to buy politicians. Wananunuliwa kama jugu karanga. And they are so cheap. If you ask me, these politicians are not principled. If you ask me, we should change the constitution to make it a criminal offense for any person who has been elected by the people to defect or to support another party. Watu kama Jelani wengi ambao tunaona kama wale Northeastern ambao were swallowed by Kenya Kwanza. That's a criminal offense. We should change it. This is our constitution. If not, they should be forced to resign. Again, I've always been asking myself, why should we have so many members of parliament? And why should we have the Senate and the National Assembly? If you ask me, we should only have about 100 members of parliament. The rest, women rep, MCAs, senators. This is just a way of stealing from the public. If we are serious about putting this country where it should be, then we need to do away with these many members of parliament and the Senate. We don't need all this. We can do away with them. And again, even the Supreme Court, if you ask me, the national dialogue should also discuss the Supreme Court. We should ask ourselves, do we really need the Supreme Court? Has it been of any help to this country? When it comes to the interpretation of the Constitution, how have they interpreted the Constitution? Why do they watch as the Constitution is misused by those who are entrusted by the Kenyans? For instance, why did they agree that Kenya Kwanza was actually the majority party? Why did they agree on this? And again, why can't they give an interpretation on what it means for a person to support another party, a rival party, yet you are not elected on that party? Do you really need the Supreme Court? When you look at the judgment, remember the first time we had about the Supreme Court is during Mutuga's time when we had the presidential election, 2013. When they all came, wakasema there is a unanimous decision and we have confirmed that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta won. A judgment that was very shallow. The only person who gave a reasoned judgment was Maraga in 2017. But when you look at the current Supreme Court, it is just an organ of the executive. Truth be told, we have even seen them bowing like this to the head of state. Can you imagine? The president of the Supreme Court, who is heading another arm of the government, bowing to the president like this. Can the president bow to the Supreme Court president, Martha Koome? Do you think William Samoei Ruto can bow? I highly doubt. I highly doubt. This is Cassius Clement TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. We were analyzing the Daily Nation today, and there are so many things that we have observed. Maybe you can grab a copy and see what is there. And because of time, we may be forced to rush to Kamkoji and see what is happening there. Remember to follow us and remember to like this video if you have not. And may you have a blessed Sunday. Maybe you can support this channel if you want. I'm going to pin my number there. And may you have a blessed afternoon. Till next time. Bye-bye.